Hey now. Y'all know what time it is. We are actually back to do the reality recap. But before we actually get into the madness, let me go ahead and give you the branding. Child, that is not it. Girl, we are having all the technical issues today. Intro. The wrong one. Lord bless
I
it.
didn't mind that one.
Right?
I didn't mind that one.
That is a whole nother intro for another show. But we are back. We are collectively Black and Curious. I'm Deja. This is Sandra.
What's up, friend?
What is good, yo? I am all out of sorts, but we have to do the pop culture
Same.
right at the top of the show. So it is now time to go grab you a drink if you haven't already done so.
Yes, and tell us what you're watching. Tell
Yeah.
us if you're watching us on, either platform. Well, first of all, we are simulcasting right now on YouTube here and on IG Live up there. So you see the eye shooting back and forth. But also, let us know what you're watching, and we will try to go in order of what you guys are watching, so you don't miss your thing. If you're watching the recap, then or the replay rather, timestamps will be below, so you can jump in where you want to go.
Girl, I think we got technical issues on the Team's Power because I didn't hear nothing you just said. Say it again. Say hello. Koala, are you there?
Hello.
Okay. I'm like, why is the sound going out? Anyway, on to the pop culture of it all. This week, first thing that I wanted to talk about is Tracy Braxton and the Braxton family. I'm so sorry to hear that she has passed, but it is said that she was dealing with cancer for a good while. And so her family is... or her son specifically said that he knows that his mom's in a better place and is no longer hurting. So prayers up for the Braxton family as they mourn the loss of their loved one.
Really tough. Really, really tough.
Ciao. So in yesteryear, I don't know if y'all remember, a little known actor by the name of Jesse Smollett, famed by Empire, had a whole debacle out there in the Chicagoland, in the polar vortex.
Clown.
So he finally had his day in court. What'd you say?
Was a clown.
Yeah. It is said that he finally had his day in court and the verdict is out. So he is to do 150 days in jail, 30 months of probation, and pay back $120K in restitution and fees for his hate crime fallacy.
I do think that was a bit excessive. That felt excessive to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but that felt really kind of excessive.
They drug that whole situation out for a long time because didn't it happen before the pandemic, 2019, 2018?
Yeah, it happened while Empire was still a thing. And while he was still on Empire, because it was said that he was maybe trying to get a few more dollars or, whatever.
So they wrote him right on out the show after that.
Well, I didn't really continue Empire that far, so.
I didn't either. I feel like everybody stopped at one point or another and just never went back. And literally, that was the death of Empire.
everybody missed a week and just never went back.
Hello? Because that is my excuse. All right. So next up, the Ryan Coogler debacle. Do you want to take this one, Kendra, as the resident lawyer?
Ryan, no. Ryan.
Lord bless it.
There was so much foolishness in this situation that I was just like, I don't even know. You can't slide bank tellers' notes.
I mean, agreed. But still, like, the note wrote that, I want to be discreet or please be discreet. this is my name, my account number, and he gave her his identification. So like,
yes. Also though, and as somebody who worked in Atlanta for a brief time in the was it mid aughts, it's not uncommon for someone to hand you cash or ask for cash and to be asking you to be discreet. That is not uncommon because not only, like you might be
Black Hollywood.
Not only that, like where I worked, I sold shoes. It was like, the adult dancers would be like, please don't draw any, like, I'm going to hand you a wad of cash. Please don't count it in front. So we would go around the corner and count it or whatever the case was so that we weren't calling additional attention to them. So like, I get it. I understand what he was doing, but like, everybody don't know you, sir. And like sliding a note, like I wish he would have just like whispered like, hey, this is kind of a lot of cash. Could you just kind of not call too much attention to it?
I don't know. So for those of you that don't know what the hell we're talking about, if you've been under a rock, Ryan Coogler had went into his local.
Ryan Coogler was the director of Black Panther, by the way.
Yes, and he went into his local Bank of America. It's still COVID restrictions for the folks, so he had on his full mask, he had on some sunglasses and a hat, and slid her a note basically saying that he wanted to pull out $12,000 from his account. He provided his identification, the account number, and like all the things that she would need to verify that he is who he is portraying to be. But sis panicked and called her manager, and the manager told her to call the police.
Well, this was the other point because I thought the manager should have handled it better. Like if the manager, if the girl called the manager over, the manager should have been like, okay, so like maybe what's going on or whatever, not like leaving sis there to try to handle it herself. And then the lady was like, she was pregnant, so she was extra scared, and maybe she shouldn't be on the front lines when she's going to be extra scared of everything with her, with the baby and the whole nine. So I was just like,
you made. Like, who is sliding notes to bank tellers in these day and age? And then it don't help that, like, you in Atlanta where they out here scamming people and robbing folks left and right. So, I will give you a little bit of a pass, but like you said, the manager should have stepped in.
Yes. And also, like, if you're going to be doing those type of cash transactions, you should probably be on the private banking side. So they know who you are, and you can call and make an appointment with your banker to come and withdraw your $10,000 in cash, however often you need to do that. So I just thought everybody could have just done a little better here. Was it his money? Yes. Is it still a large amount of money for the ordinary person to be pulling out? Yes. Ryan Coogler is not the star of Black Panther. He is behind the scenes. So there's plenty of people who have no clue who he is. Right. And wouldn't have probably that information right on hand. So, I was just like, I'm not marching for this one. Like, we could have done it better. We all could have done better here.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just feel like you are in Black Hollywood. I'm almost certain that they have celebrities coming all the time wanting to withdraw from their damn accounts and possibly large amounts.
Again, once you get to that sort of level, you get a private banker and you do your stuff.
Maybe he has a private banker in LA because I don't think he lives in LA.
Okay, well, you handle it with people who are used to handling those types of transactions, not the local teller. But you
live and you learn. All right, moving on.
You live and you learn.
So in strange news, this is from the Neighborhood Talk. And as the title says, a new meaning to adoption. Allegedly, there was a white couple who adopted some embryos. The embryos happened to be of Black children, and they went on to birth two twin girls, as you can see here. This is like a post from the friend who like is glorifying that this woman adopted these Black embryos and then proceeded to insert them. This shit is so weird to me. I don't understand the idea of adopting in like fertilized embryos because someone chose to not do anything with them. So then you just adopt it? Like what?
Yeah, the concept is weird to me. Like the adoption of the embryos is odd to me. But I mean, I guess in a situation like this, I'm not sure what their fertility problems were, but obviously
they got 4 children already.
Okay. All right, well, maybe they just didn't want the eggs to go to waste or the embryos to go to waste, but I I
That's
don't
weird.
I don't have a problem typically with I want the children to be in loving homes. Like that's where I come out on, interracial adoptions. As long as those homes are actually loving and they aren't being terrible to them, you know, that's where I come out on it. So, but I don't know, the birthing the black baby, I don't know, something about that is just like,
that shit is strange. I don't care how you slice it. And then, like, I am quick to catastrophize something. So my mind is like, oh, they now have like their own, I don't, I'm not going to say that about these children. We're going to move right on along.
Yeah.
Into the mess.
Kind of like, why?
All right, sis, what are you drinking?
I'm having Black Girl Magic Rosé.
Oh, I have a Josh. What is this? Cab Sav. Not Cab Sav. What did I buy? I promise you, I have not been drinking all night. I just can't remember, child. The bottle is not here. I look like an alcoholic. I assure you, I'm not.
Yikes!
What is this called? Oh, this is the Josh Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay, very good. Great.
Oh shoot. Anyway, on to the mess. Where you want to start?
Honestly don't know, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I didn't really watch a whole I started reading 7 Days in June on Saturday. I started it last week sometime, and it had me in a chokehold. It had me.
What is 7 Days in June?
A chokehold. Tia Williams. I love Tia Williams. I will read pretty much anything she writes. So yeah. I also have her in my book list from last year, book list from this year. I'll link both down below. She just had me in a chokehold the whole weekend.
Okay, so then what did you peruse through before we started the show?
All right, I perused Housewives of Salt Lake City. I thought, okay, so it was interesting that somebody brought up Erika Jayne in this context. Yeah. And I agreed that they did her dirty. And if you go back, there was a point in which I flipped. And I think it was the reunion where I was just kind of like, I feel bad for her, actually. Mm-hmm. And so basically they were like, yeah. So basically, I think it was Jen was kind of like, or maybe it wasn't Jen. It was somebody was like, why did y'all have all that smoke for Erika Jayne, but y'all didn't have no smoke for Sharriff? And also, it was Jen that was like, and Whitney, isn't your husband under investigation for something? So like, what are we doing here? And basically her husband was just like, well, it's been an ongoing lawsuit. It's not really moving forward. So, it's ongoing. But according to the Bravo docket, shouts out to the Bravo docket. I'm going to do that. He had to step down, or he's no longer the CEO of that company anymore. So yeah, he stepped down from his position. So I don't know what that means. I don't know. But it seemed like his company was also doing some pyramidish scamming type of behavior.
The idea that they really expected, because I think you spoke about this before when you talked about Sharriff, Jen's husband, being an attorney, and the idea that they really expected that he was going to say anything that could damn his wife's case. Like, come on, y'all. And she said it, like, he's an attorney. Like, he practiced. She said how long he practiced for and everything. So it's just kind of
13 years. Yeah.
These questions, he going to dodge them left and right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And to the point she made also about them questioning where she was getting her money from, like that is the highest level of caring on I have ever seen in my life. Because why is that your business? But she basically was like, he's a NFL agent or signing agent or something like that. So yeah,
he was an attorney. Yeah, he was an attorney, and then he was an agent under his attorney contract or whatever, which a lot of attorneys do. Some attorneys do. And then after that, he went on to coach. And she was saying, like, you guys are looking at it he's coaching Little League. He's not. He's coaching Division I football. And they just went to the Rose Bowl. Like, it is a popular team. Those contracts are like millions of dollars. Like, it's not Little League, So I just was like, yeah, it did. Her money did not seem excessive to me like Erika's did, especially because it seemed, and honestly, like based on Jen's explanation at the reunion last year, I thought I understood what she did. I thought she was an algorithm.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Like that's what I thought she was. I didn't think she was doing that, whatever. But it seemed like from what she was explaining to me, I was like, well, that makes sense. She got money because she's coming up with the algorithms. So I don't know. We gonna see. Her trial got pushed back, so it's gonna be in the summertime now.
So it was scheduled for March, and they pushed it to. Okay.
Yeah,
got you.
I think it was the judge's schedule or something. It wasn't any like anything to do with her case. I think the judge has other conflicts.
Either way, I wish her all the best in fighting this. She's still proclaiming her innocence, and I hope that it all comes out that she is, and she is able to move on unscathed.
Same. Not looking good, but I hope for her.
It ain't looking good, but what's next?
So there was no
Right to Love, so we'll be talking about
that. I watched a few minutes of Kandi and the Gang, if you want to do that.
So Kandi and the Gang, what I will say is I still am like over Phillip, the operations manager. I understand his side, but I still think that it could be done better. But then I went and I watched Kandi online because Kandi likes to do the speak on it. And her and Don Juan sat down and were talking about, everybody that that's on the cast and their experiences. And they made mention to the fact that Phillip was super nervous about being on camera. So like hindsight, looking back, a lot of those scenes, he did kind of look like a deer in headlights until he was irritated. You know what I mean? And at those points, it was just kind of like, that's when he went off the rails. So maybe, I need to give him some grace. So that's the space that I'm going to operate from going forward.
And Phillip just looked like he was just coming in there to try to do his job. And it's like, I mean, I know he probably knew he was going to be on camera, obviously, but like, he was thinking he's going to come in there and do his job. And these people are over here already acting up right out the gate. And he was just like, now what?
Plum fool.
I thought you hired me to get this place together like I had to get Blaze together or whatever the other place is called. I thought that's what you hired me to come do here. So what?
But allegedly, according to the children down in the A, Peter Street is the trap. That's how they talk about it.
Well.
And I'm just like... Okay.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna defer. I've had, let's just put it this way, I've had some good times down on Peter Street. Now, I will say that.
Listen, I wouldn't know. I've barely been to Atlanta except for the few times I came to visit you and Twink.
It looked like it was at a time. Shout out to Twink. At a time, it looked like it was going to be the next hit in the gentrification, but apparently it was not complete, according to the children. So, I don't know.
Right, bro. But yeah, the only criticism that I have, well, let's start off with things we like. So, Shawndreca is terrible. I'm supposed to be starting off positive. Look at you.
Wow.
But she is terrible.
Know. Which one is Shawndreca?
The damn hostess with lack of the mostest. Anyway, she's terrible. Oh. She's funny, but like, Lord bless it. Dom, I like, who is the professional dancer.
Yeah.
And then I love Torin, who's the events planner. He seems really funny. And speaking of Torin, he and Mr. Phillip had a back and forth that was totally unexpected because Torin came in and he met with Don Juan and they had their old conversation. And then, Don Juan told Torin just to go over and look at the space because it's been changed around. So when you get ready to start planning these events, make sure you know what you're working with in terms of the space. So Torin comes in with his like backpack. So there's an image. There's a scene where Torin is walking with. Yo, that's literally what I was about to sing. There's a scene where he is walking with his little yellow sweater on and he looked cute as with his backpack, and all I could hear in my mind was backpack.
Oh, bless it.
Oh God. Anyway, so Torin gets over there and he's looking around doing everything or whatever. And Phillip speaks to him. And so he speaks back or whatever. No big deal, no harm, no foul. But then Phillip wants to sit down, have like this impromptu meeting with Torin to like establish his dominance. And it's like I was on the side of Torin, like, honey, you just got here. Like, I've been the events manager. I'm coming back into this space because I was asked to come back. Yeah, I want to be here, but I also was asked to come back. Like this, once you get to that scene, you're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I see it." It was just unnecessary, and he did that with several people. The other person that he met on last night's episode was Brian, who was the former bartender before Dom got there, and he's now just a server. But like, he was also super nasty to him too. And he was just like in the confessionals. Brian's also one of my favorites now. He literally was just like, after Phillip walked off, he was like, asshole. And I'm like, yes, exactly.
Yeah. I think that I haven't watched the scenes yet, and I'm sure he was a jerk. But I also think, I'm not sure that Kandi and Todd, when they plucked him from the other restaurant that he collected up, I don't know if they prepared him properly for this environment. Like, these are people who have been here. There's going to be you're going to have to be a little more delicate.
Exactly. And that was my point last week. I totally support setting up structure, but you got to set up structure based upon the evidence that you already have, meaning tell the people what you saw and what is going to change.
Yeah. And also, like, this is half of these people are Kandi's relatives. Like,
hello. And even the ones that's not blood related, they like family anyway, because they've been around since the beginning.
Right.
So to Kandi, Kandi's thing is like, it's loyalty. Like, when people could just be at home for the last couple of years and collecting unemployment, work a couple of days here and there and then go home to glory. He gets like
glory.
Literally, like, at that child, them children was collecting good money on the unemployment during the before they cut it off. So yeah, they was going home to glory.
I mean, I think Kandi needs to take a step back. Personally, I feel like I feel like Todd sees it, like she's protecting some of these people, and she's not going to have a functioning restaurant if she keeps just like interjecting to baby a bunch of people.
Yeah,
she's gonna have to step back, or she's gonna need to bring them on her
when you get a chance.
Okay, or she's gonna need to bring them on her personal staff, and they can like work with Don Juan, who seems to have a better patience for them. So they can be her assistants or something. But she don't want them that's the other thing. You want somebody else to go deal with their trash and them to deal with the public. But if you cared enough, if you cared like you said you did, they would be your assistants. But you don't. So leave Phillip and Todd to wrangle this staff, and you going about your day. And you and Don Juan plan the whole, Kandi empire.
Girl. Lord bless it. One of my favorite scenes from this episode was Brian in his confessionals, the former bartender, when he said, and I think it might be in a commercial, where he said that him and Torin tried to tug and pull. He literally said this shit on camera, saying, yeah, we tried it. We tugged and pulled, but his dick too big for me, honey.
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
So yes, make sure you go and you watch Kandi and the Gang, and also make sure you tune into Kandi online. I think that's her YouTube channel. Yes. So you can get the behind the scenes conversations, because after every episode they're gonna have a speak on it. So I'm loving this, the Kandi sphere. I'm loving it, girl. She's really doing it.
Right. Well, I'm gonna catch up and be better prepared next week. Anything else you want to talk about?
Did you watch your show, MAFS? Because I did watch it. I watched the last episode.
Did you? I watched it. Yeah,
I did. Aren't you proud? So I don't know the couples properly. I can't, because I haven't been watching the season. So I know there's 2 Black couples on the show, and the Asian girl, and I don't know what his ethnicity is. So I'm not going to claim it. I don't know what anybody's ethnicity is. They might be. One of the couples
Steven, okay, so the 2 Asian Asian couple, or at least I think Steve is part. So that's Steve and Noi.
I like her
And
name.
Steve's the one. Steve's the one. We have another conversation.
He ain't
coming
working.
Up, is the one that's not working.
Okay, I figured it out. I said, "Oh, we talked about this." Okay.
So, what did you think? Well, first impression. Deja hasn't been watching, so this is her first impression of Married at First Sight.
She's been trying to get me to watch it since this show started, y'all. I'm terrible.
I love it,
but
it's a mess.
It's interesting. I enjoyed the episode that I watched. I'm gonna keep watching. The thing that one of the major things that stood out to me was the couple, that the light-skinned couple. This sounds terrible. I don't know their names.
Katina and Olajuwon.
Okay, Olajuwon.
Let me tell you something about that clown. Okay, he is a clown. First of all, let's just start right there. Olajuwon is a clown. But this is going to sound terrible. I'm sorry for whoever this offends, but you can tell with the biracial kids, sometimes you can tell when the mom, which race the mom is. And so
Olajuwon, he was biracial. I thought Olajuwon was
no, I think his dad is like West African or something. And then his mom
thought that he was like from the like the Spanish side of the Caribbean.
His mom is a white woman and raised him primarily. I'm not sure where his dad fit into the equation, but his mom was his primary caretaker, and his brother, we have seen, is also married to a white woman. And so his standards and the way he talks to Katina gives me, and he has also admitted that he hasn't really seriously dated anyone, but he has particularly not seriously dated a black woman. So it's giving me, I don't know how to talk to black women. And so he has tried to, she came in feeling like very energetic and like warm. And to me, it feels like he's trying to break her down. And I don't like that. Like he's trying to just kind of tug at her and break her and make her into what he wants her to be. So like his big thing is you're not acting like a wife. And it's like
whatever his idea of a wife is. I got that very clearly, like in the conversation, the way he was talking. And I'm just like, so the experts, what like the therapist tried to get down to it. Like, well, what is your idea? Like, spit it out.
Yeah. And so like his idea is very old school, like cooking and cleaning. And
like the girl said, it's archaic than a mud.
Yeah. And the expert was kind of like, Dr. Viv was kind of like, if that's what you're looking for, you're going to be single. And also, like, what were you doing before you got married?
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't cooking and neither were you. So y'all need to figure it out together.
Hello.
But he just feels like
that's her name, right?
She needs to rise to the level of what he feels a wife should be. And in the meantime, he is like withholding from her, like withholding love, withholding affection, and basically being like, well, I can't tell you I love you until I feel like you're what a wife should be.
That's very childish.
Trash. Trash.
That is
garbage.
Off rip, the gist that I got from them alone was that he just be talking reckless out of his mouth, and it's gonna take her really, because she's someone that just receives it. This is what I'm presuming.
Oh, she's gonna snap.
Based off of how she was interacting with him, but I feel like she's gonna really snap, crackle, and pop on him. Absolutely, you have no idea. Like this constant berating. Like
I'm looking forward to it.
Honestly, the gist that I got in watching that episode is that he constantly berates her, and so like he's constantly
trying to break her
down to her, and like that's not okay. Even like I think that he had gotten on the therapist's nerves so bad that she really just started cutting him off. I ain't never seen a therapist react to someone in that fashion, not unless they was genuinely like tired. Like shut up.
No. He is a horrible person. Not a fan. And honestly, in all of the couples, there's one like fatally flawed individual.
That's not good.
Except
the other
Stephen Noy,
black
but I
couple?
sort of think Noy is kind of a little toxic too. I do, because I think she's very like, she has her ideas of what things should be. Like, you didn't see how
The traditions, yeah.
the conversation about kids and how he was like, well, I'm fine to have two. Like, she's like, no, I gotta have three. I have two other siblings, and it has to be three, not two, not four. And he's like, okay, but what if we get to two and we're overwhelmed, or a kid has a special need, or like, what if we get to two and we just logical. We can't anymore, or whatever the case may be. And she's just like, no, absolutely not. Three is where I draw the line. I don't really care. And like, she has done that about, I forget what the other thing she did that about, but she is very like cut and dry, doesn't want to hear it, very unyielding, wants what she wants when she wants it.
Oh, yeah, that's not gonna work either. She sounds like, oh boy.
And so he, not as bad, but yes, very bad. And he's more free spirited. We have a whole conversation coming up about him not working
even in the episode that I watched today, he seems to me to be the most put together in that relationship. And maybe I could be wrong because I only watched the one episode, but like, his communicating to her, because he was like, so do you think that I'm not capable of making money?
Right.
As if to say, like, girl, like, you know what it is that I did before. Have you not ever just Googled like the salary cap for my work? So backstory, Kendra kind of explained in the episode we have coming up what the situation is between the two of them, and like her letting me know off rip that he's like some sort of tech engineer. He's making well into six figures, and depending on how high ranking his level was, he probably living good, which is why he's not had to work.
Yeah, 100%.
People really, she's
probably
working herself by herself if she don't pull this shit together.
Yeah. So that's that.
I don't think there's anything else that we should talk about or that we missed. We might be at the end.
Okay.
So in that case, what were you curious about this week?
I don't even have anything prepared. You go.
No worries. Honestly, my newest curiosity is really exploring myself in terms of being emotionally open and vulnerable with my loved ones, because I was raised to be like kind of shut off and distant in that regard as it relates to expressing myself and just being clear. And so this week I had a really emotional moment, and so I'm just curious to see how this will play out, because I'm not really one to be that type of emotionally vulnerable. And I have to thank my friend who kind of like talked me down off the cliff, which is why I have glasses on, because my lashes would not have stuck because I was crying so hard. So yeah. Drop down in the comments, y'all, and let us know what the hell you are watching, because we really want to know. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we will talk to you guys next week. Bye. See if I can do this simultaneously.